Slovakia is taking over OSCE presidency. The first round of next year's presidential election will be held on March the 16th. Robert Fico is a candidate to become a constitutional court judge, and Maroš Šefčovič is a possible candidate for Slovak president. Welcome to 24/7, the summary of the week news by the news agency of the Slovak Republic. Even though the first US F-16 fighter jets will arrive Slovakia in 2022, the Defense Ministry wants to select the first pilots for training in the USA as early as in 2019. According to Minister Gajdoš, based on our selection, we'll gradually send the best and most successful pilots to the USA, where they'll be trained, including language training. The first 6 pilots could be sent to the USA in 2019, while the jets will be handed over gradually, with 4 aircraft delivered in 2022 and the remaining 10 by the end of 2023. The state plans to borrow 4.3 billion euros through bond issues this year. As Finance Minister Peter Kažimír said, the issuing of bonds with longer maturity depends on developments on financial markets and the needs of the state. Last year, Slovakia sold a 50-year government bond worth 500 million euros for the first time in its history, while according to the Finance Ministry, the sales conditions were attractive and demand was thus 3 times higher than supply. Slovaks spend the most money per month on housing with energy, almost 25% of the total, then on food and non-alcoholic beverages 18%, and on recreation and culture 10%, while they spend the least on education, just 2%. When compared to other European Union countries, Slovaks faced among the highest costs, not only for housing, but also for food and beverages. Slovakia's social benefits provided to citizens of other states aren't currently motivating enough for illegal migrants and asylum seekers to stay in Slovakia, Interior Minister Denisa Saková has stated for TASS, adding that 178 asylum applications were registered last year, of which 6 were accepted. From a European perspective, 2018 brought positive results in the area of migration. In general, the situation in recent years is considered to have stabilized somewhat, and the number of requests for asylum in the European Union is declining. Chairman of the senior governing Smer SD party, Robert Fico, is a candidate to become a constitutional court judge. TASR was told on Monday by Parliamentary Vice Chair Martin Glváč, who personally submitted the bid to Parliament's filling office. According to Glváč, Fico's experience qualifies him for the post of constitutional judge, and he can also imagine him in the post of constitutional court chair. The whole of Slovakia has been hit by heavy snowfalls on Tuesday that have caused serious transport issues, especially in western Slovakia. Various mountain passes, including Donovaly and Štorec, have been closed for lorries. Heavy snowfalls have been causing serious issues in Bratislava as well. The Slovak Hydrometeorological Institute on Tuesday increased the snow warning from the 1st to the 2nd degree. Bratislava public transport was struggling with snow as well, with certain tram lines completely closed and buses running with delays. Due to the weather, Bratislava airport had to divert to Budapest 3 Ryanair flights that were heading from London, Stansted, Birmingham and Marrakesh to Bratislava. Controversial entrepreneur Marian Kočner, who faces charges of counterfeiting promissory notes, will remain in a more stringent form of custody, as the Supreme Court decided to this effect at its behind-closed-door session on Tuesday. With its ruling, the Supreme Court rejected Kočner's complaint against being placed in a more stringent form of custody. He faces charges of counterfeiting promissory notes, on which he based his 70 million euros claim against TV Markíza. Chairman of the senior governing Smer SD party Robert Fico has offered Vice President of the European Commission Maroš Šefčovič the possibility to run for president, with Šefčovič not refusing the offer, but wanting to take a few days to decide. Šefčovič said that he cares about the future of Slovakia, and even to date he has been doing his maximum to make Slovakia a successful modern country. His mandate as the European Commission's Vice President ends after the election to the European Parliament, slated to be held at the end of May. New mayor of Bratislava Matúš Valo announced that he'll soon launch a new public petition calling for a ban on gambling in the capital city after local legislation to that effect expired at the end of 2018 following a court ruling that it wasn't in line with national law. An absolute ban on gambling in Bratislava was introduced via local legislation in May 2017 following a public petition that was signed by more than 136,000 people, of which more than 98,000 signatures were found to be valid. Nevertheless, a court later ruled that the local legislation was at odds with national law and its effect expired at the end of 2018. People may be fined up to 500 euros for unauthorized use of military uniforms and identification symbols of the Slovak Armed Forces, according to the government's amendments to the Armed Forces Act approved at its meeting on Wednesday. The Defense Ministry is responding with a measure to the problem of extremist paramilitary organizations. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has named Slovak diplomat Jan Kubiš as his special coordinator for Lebanon. Former Slovak Foreign Affairs Minister Kubiš has headed UN missions in Iraq and Afghanistan in the past. He'll replace Permil Daler-Kardel of Denmark, who has been acting coordinator since November 2017. For the first time, Slovakia is presiding over a multilateral organization with a crisis on its doorstep. For the first time, it will manage an international organization with such great uncertainty about the future, and at a time when multilateralism is a danger, said Slovak Foreign and European Affairs Minister Miroslav Lajčák. Lajčák was in Vienna to present the priorities of the Slovak presidency of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe for 2019. The first thing that Slovakia wants to aim at within the OSCE is to prevent and mitigate the consequences of conflicts. The second priority of the Slovak OSCE presidency is a secure future, and the third, effective multilateralism. The first round of next year's presidential election will be held on March the 16th, Parliamentary Chair Andrej Danko announced on Thursday. A possible second round, if the head of state isn't elected in the first one, is slated to take place on March the 13th. At the moment, more than a dozen people officially intend to join the contest for the presidential palace. Candidates for the presidential post can submit their bids until January the 31st. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget you can always find the latest news on newsnow.dasr.sk.